What point in your life do you think you're at now, today?
Oh, it's a bit heavy, isn't it?
It's heavy, yeah.
Casual,
It's going to be casual. We'll line it up in a bit.
I'll need a power nap after this, won't I?
What makes a good pundit in your eyes?
Be on time, respect the people I'm working with, and give an opinion and go home. That's what I try and do, and people keep giving me work, yeah, so must be doing something okay.
Famous last words. I was going to do my coaching badge. Brilliant.
But you can do them still, you know.
I was going to be a pilot when I was young. I was going to be a pilot. I just didn't do the course. Yeah, I just didn't do the course, right? I can't fly. No, you need a badge, right?
You better be on time.
I never thought I'd see you on Instagram. How's that? Who broaches that subject with you first time and says...
My youngest daughter.
And she goes, what? Go on, tell me the
Go on,
conversation.
Dad, listen, we were in lockdown. Can you do it just for a laugh? Blah, blah, blah. Sitting at the kitchen table. My 16-year-old daughter. And I went, yeah, come on, let's do it for a laugh. Bit of fun. So it's my daughter. But I've met people have said to me, who's your team? Where's your team based? I went, where's my team? Okay. As if I have a team. I went,
play now as a social media
I'm pretty sure they have, but I thought, I have a team based in New York and London, you know, they work. It's me and my 16-year-old daughter, she's chief executive, yeah.
I'm fed up already. Not even started. What am I doing with my life?
That's a good sentence, that, isn't it? When we won the World Cup in '98 in the European Championship.
Yeah, I've said it a few times.
It is just a start.
Once is enough. Once is enough.
7 Premier League titles.
Yeah, but do you know what? It should have been.
4 FA Cups.
Should be more than that.
Yeah, I know. We'll get to that. 4 Community Shields.
Well, them stats don't rock my boat.
Again, perception. People think I'm probably not up to it. They see me on the television. They think he's a bit of a head case. I fell out with McCarthy, Ferguson. They think he's trouble. But I don't think I am. You were supposed to say there you're not.
No, you don't.
We said 1/4 but 1/4 to me means 10 o'clock. It should be 15 minutes early. Vince Lombardi, the great American coach, said that.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'd be critical of is why would you want to speak to an opposition player? I don't care if he's your teammate or not for over 20 minutes. I very rarely speak to anybody for over 5 minutes.
I hope your wife gets more than 5 minutes chat with you.
Never.
Does she still manage it now for you?
Well, we say manage it. Can we do a picture? Let's do a picture today. Is that managing it? Yeah, is that managing it? I don't know. But people said...
I looked this morning, you've got 1.4 million followers on Instagram.
Right. Well, what does that mean?
It means you're very popular.
No, it's just people look at your photo. Is that you look at your photograph and have a nose at you?
But you don't want to build. I think, to be fair, I think it helps you. You talked about perception before, about how people see you.
Helps me in what way?
I think it helps you.
But I have a good life. Helps me with what?
No, because I think it helps you, because you said before about perception.
Would it get me a job?
It could.
Instagram might get me a job. So that my pro licence, forget my pro licence and all my football experience, Instagram will get me a job. That's great. You should have told me that years ago. Jesus.
You know, Mick, I've always said, is a really, really nice guy. Yeah, very likeable. I'm not sure he's got much knowledge on football, but he's a really nice guy.
Vieira or Keane?
What?
Player.
Oh, I thought I was better than Patrick, yeah. Is that what you're saying? Who's better? Yeah, me. What are you pausing for?
I'm not sure I want to go anymore.
Do you really hate people who are late?
Why can't they be on time? There's no excuse.
What was it like when you were captain at United when players were late?
They won't.
I couldn't believe we went to Saipan to train when the island doesn't have a football pitch. You tell me, what are we doing in Saipan without a football pitch?
Best goalkeeper you played with?
I suppose I'd have to say Peter, but I still think he was overrated. Peter Schmeichel. Yeah.
Overrated? In what way?
Was. Yeah, I just don't think he was as good as everyone made out. But he was very good. Why are you questioning my answers?
I was always able to run around. My young fella plays soccer now. He's 17, and I think he plays like I do. He's not very good, but he runs around a lot. So
I don't get fireworks anyway. I don't even like people setting off fireworks. I don't get fireworks.
Why not?
What a firework? You spend fortune, it blows up and it's gone in 3 seconds. Do you ever watch Room 101 where you sit in a programme with Frank Skinner and you say the things you don't like? It could be anything. People who smoke, people who are always on their phones, and you get rid of it and you argue. To me, it'd be fireworks. Pointless.
We never used to have team talks or speeches. There was a few occasions, I would say, you might remember, maybe 2 or 3 times a season, before a match, I might just turn around to the group and say, remember lads, we're Man United. And that would be it. That would be my chit-chat.
You would never do that.
My way of leading was the way I played and trained, I suppose.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're a goalkeeper and they make a save, do you know what, Mick? I feel like saying to people,
it's your job!
It's your job! It's your job. He's got gloves on. Why is he wearing gloves? And when people say someone's a good shot stopper, you go, it's your job. It's your job, man.
I'm guessing that's a bit of respect, maybe.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely,
respect.
absolutely,
That's the
yeah.
word I will go back to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like when I walked into Nottingham Forest as a 19-year-old, Stuart Pearce had that for me.
Yeah.
Stuart Pearce I was looking at him going, he didn't have to open his mouth, just like the way he trained, the way he played, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily follow people who are just talking a good game, because, listen, we know plenty of them. I was impressed by players who trained properly, who turned up on time, and who performed at the highest level. That was it for me.
You know, Roy's been to a concert of Neil Diamond. You know that, don't you?
Yeah. Have you? I don't blame you.
He's brilliant. No, about 10 years ago, but I ended up arguing with a woman next to me. I kept singing all the songs out loud, so I ended up in a bit of trouble that night. But a brilliant concert. I wasn't daft, because what happened at the end of it, when you're working with people and brilliant managers, and that respect is lost, and it was, then it's over.
Brendan's talking there about it's a great achievement. I think what we could look at, I think the key to management nowadays is set your standards really, really low and you'll be in the game for a long time.
Cillian Murphy comes on there. I love the programme to bits. Comes on at the end and said, "No, can I have a picture?" He said, "No, I've got some filming to do now."
Brilliant.
What's up? I thought he was a spit of him.
But I get where he's coming from. He was working or he was in the zone.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. But do you not dislike him for that?
No, I don't dislike him.
Good.
I don't dislike him. No, it was a bit embarrassing at the time.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, that's why you probably shouldn't ask.
Roy, did you enjoy that?
Not really, no.
Yes, you did.
You know, you're always thinking about the players in the dressing room, all this kind of bit of nonsense, but it is what it is, I suppose. We've got to try and get rid of all that player power nonsense, particularly from bad players.
There's one or two players sitting in the press conference here, I know we couldn't believe it, and these lads, you know, muppets. It's the only way I can describe them. To sit there and to say what they said about me, hypocrites, you know, these lads. Cowards sums them up, and I mean that. I will not go back on that.
But you always know teams having a hard time when they're paintballing.
Yeah.
The only teams who do that.
You don't do it when you win it.
Yeah. You know you're heading for relegation if you're paintballing. I was doing that every week at Sunderland and Ipswich. I thought a bit of paintballing will keep us up. Oh, yeah. Are we doing any training today? No, bless you. We're doing a bit of go-kart.
Team bonding.
Yeah, and then we'll go for a Chinese.
Moment you still think about?
What, in a good or bad way?
Anything. Good and bad.
In football, I suppose. Maybe actually when I done my cruise ship.
Haaland one.
Yeah, the Haaland stuff, yeah.
Do you blame
when I
yourself?
got injured. When you got injured.
Do you blame yourself for that?
Yeah, a bit stupid. But I don't think I deserved doing my cruise shit for it.
Run about Henri's handball, yeah, of course you handle it, but I'd focus on why didn't they clear it? I'd be more annoyed with my defenders and my goalkeeper than Thierry Henry. How can you leave a ball bounce in the 6-yard box? How can you let Thierry Henry get goal side of you? And if the ball bounced in the 6-yard box, I'd be saying, where the hell's my goalkeeper?
When I look back at my differences with other managers, I really feel I should only answer to my dad. I shouldn't be spoken down to by Ferguson or McCarthy. Why should I be speaking down to me?
When I went to United, I had a good time. They just won the league, they had momentum, confidence in the group, really good players, and more importantly, really good characters. Incy, Robbo, Brucey, Pally, I'll tell you, brilliant lads. You know, I always describe lads I was playing with, and I was thinking, if I was in a fight in a nightclub, but I want these fellas with me, and I'd say, yeah. Not Schmeichel, but the others I would. He'd be hiding, I know he would, but great fellas, brilliant fellas.
We do a section on the overlap called "Failure is a bruise, not a tattoo."
Right. Okay.
Which is a saying someone sent to me after I finished. And
right. Yeah, but isn't there loads of sayings?
No, I know there's loads of sayings.
I know, just plenty more of them, Gary.
What?
We're just entering London now. Can you tell me what you love about London?
London, getting out of it.
Well, the FAI are asking for the game to be replayed now.
Who? John Delaney? He's on about the honesty and I wouldn't take any notice of that man.
Really?
No.
So
people forget the last time I ever in the World Cup, 2002. Yeah. People seem to forget what was going on in that World Cup, and that man's on about honesty. I was one of the players. He didn't have the courtesy to ring me. He got interviewed and all he said was, I don't know where he is. He's on the island. He's on the island somewhere, I think. I've been involved in Ireland since I was 15 years of age. And that man didn't have the decency even to make a phone call.
But he knew where to contact you.
He could have phoned me, of course he could have. Yeah. Try my hotel room. Yeah, you can laugh. That was the World Cup.
Then there's other managers get 7, 8, 9, 10 chances. I can't understand why certain managers And I'm on about managers, championship and League One.
But you won't network. You won't play the game.
Can't be just networking, Gary.
But you won't play the game.
What's the game?
The game, you know the game.
I don't know the game.
You do know the game.
I don't know the game.
It's about getting in with the journalists, in with the media, in with the chairman. No, it's about having that. It is. You know it is. You know it is.
Gary, when I was at Ireland, I was scouting. I was going to matches every week. I was sitting in chairman's room. I was getting looked after. Is that networking? I was being polite to people.
Yeah, but you wouldn't network, would you? You wouldn't. I wouldn't network either. It's not unique.
But educate me. What is networking? What is networking?
You wouldn't play the game, the PR game, the media game.
What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What would help me get a job? Tell me. Yeah, exactly.
The manager was talking about with his players and staff that they'd won 3 trophies last year. My goodness, the manager was including the Charity Shield as a major trophy. My God, now you're in trouble.
No, I think it was when the lads were coming in our dressing room, like Mikel and Laurent Blanc and Fabien, and I used to be looking at them and they'd be like doing stretches and eating salads all the time. I was thinking, do you know, maybe I'll try some of that, because I was just eating bread and potatoes and pasta. Listen, still having a half-decent diet, but I forgot what I'm about. I'm Irish. You know, I like my bit of rubbish, and that was kind of helping me in my career. That's what suited me.
But as I said, it's unfortunate because there is genuine English fans who go and watch the games to enjoy the matches, but you're going to get 1 or 2 idiots, unfortunately.
You ask any sports people, I suppose, boxers, anything, you slacking off 1 or 2%, you're found out. I think we were found out last year. The hunger just wasn't there. After winning the treble, I read a few quotes from different players, and they said like at the time, oh, I don't care if I never win a trophy again, or it doesn't matter now what happens. And you're thinking, it does, you know. It was next year. You know?
Tell us about the watch story and the watch you bought in pre-season.
Oh, for United, yeah, that's an old story. But yeah, Sharpie. But again, listen, I've made mistakes like everybody else. But no, I bought but again, I first came to United, I'd been at Forest, and I thought, you know, a nice watch. I was in town with Sharpie, great guy, and we saw this Rolex. Again, I didn't have a clue, Rolex watch, God knows. And the guy was trying to sell me this watch, and I was looking, it was like 1,100. But it was another watch for 2,000, but he was saying to me, you know, I'd recommend the one for 1,100. And I was thinking, good guy, because I thought he'd be trying to sell me the more expensive one. So he took the watch when I'm sent to Sharp. He said, he seems a nice fella, really good guy. You know, he's looking after me. He's not trying to sell me the more expensive one. He went, what's it mean? I said, well, he's selling me that one. I've given my credit card for, you know, 1,150. And Sharp, he went, no. I was 11,500. I said, you serious? Yeah. The best one is the guy, he went, well, tell the guy you don't want it. I went, nah, sick, cringing.
Ego.
Yeah, ego, pride, Gary, yeah. Famous last words. They came out with a watch, and I went, cheers, thanks for that. And I remember he saying to me, "You're a very rare watch, you know, people could chop your arm off for this, very rare." We left, there was one in the shop across the road. I remember looking at it, and I said to Sharp, I went, "Hey, keep that to yourself." I went, you know, I'm new to the club. I don't want to think I'm a fool. And the next day we get on the bus, and all the lads are like, "Hey, what time is it?" I'm like, oh, idiot. I still have it. I still have the watch, and it's got up in value. So I think I was thinking long term, an investment. Yeah. Who's laughing now?
But all the lads I've worked with, we never once do I ever remember a dressing room discussing wages with somebody or who's getting what, or if you were getting more than me, good luck to you. You know, you'd hear stories in the media. Certain players might have clauses in their contract. They have to be the highest paid player of the club. All complete nonsense. The good lads I worked with was about doing the business, going out every day, and obviously, when you're playing for Man United, when people say you win a trophy, you expect to win a trophy with these players.
I remember when I was up at Sunderland, I came in one Monday morning, and Real Madrid was on the night before against Barcelona, and the staff were having a cup of tea, and I went, what a game that was last night. Barcelona. One of the staff went, I didn't know it was on. What do you mean? It's been advertised the last 3 weeks. It was on his. And I think he says, I was with my wife in York. I should have sacked him on the spot. You know, fucking get out. I didn't say it. You're like, you gotta have a passion for the game. If you don't want Barcelona and Real Madrid on a Sunday, wait, get out. I should have got rid of him.
France were there for the taking, and Ireland never grabbed it. Usual stuff. Afraid of that next step. Mentally not strong enough. And they can complain all they want, and all these players, they can complain all they want. It's not going to change. France are going to the World Cup. Get over it. And they want the sympathy one. The usual carry on. Boring. Bore you to that, they would. They would. It's boring.
Why wouldn't he be?
Well, his wife just had a baby, and I think that might have delayed his arrival.
Yeah, but he didn't have the baby, did he? Unless he's breastfeeding, he should be all right. I think if I played like some of their defenders did in that game last night, I would consider retiring from football. I really would. Shameful.
But you were good fun when you were out having a drink.
But I think I'm good fun now when I go sober. No, I do. No, but I think I have a good crack now as much as I did.
You're a good storyteller.
Right, well, is that not bad? What do you want me to do? Take my t-shirt off and swing it over my head? When I used to go out, people go, oh, he's a lunatic when he's drinking. You know, he's a bit of a time bomb, be careful. A lot of people say, and then I stopped drinking. Oh, he's a loner. He doesn't want to mix with anybody. I go, what do you want me to do? If I go out, I'm mad. I'm a loner. You can't win.
Do you know what? If I was in Garrett's shoes, I wouldn't try and be too clever. I'm kind of bored of the lads all night, and England have already won the tournament according to these lads down there. I would just say, keep it simple. Just focus on the next game. Try and win the next game. Don't worry about last 16, quarter-final, final. These lads down there. Try and win the next game of football. And don't try and please everybody. You're on about giving lads from the squad a game. Try and win the next game of football.
It'll help you with your punditry.
Yes.
It will, honestly.
And by God, you need it.
And all this hugging players after matches as well. Over the top stuff. My goodness, what's the game coming to?
At the end of the day, they need to get behind the team. And as I said, away from home, our fans are fantastic. I'd call it hardcore fans, but at home, you know, they'd have their few drinks and probably their prawn sandwiches, and they don't realise what's going on out in the pitch and sort of order, you know.
Even when I first come into the first team, the players would go out on a Wednesday after a game and a Saturday after a game.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah. But why wouldn't you? You know, when you're younger, you're 21, 22 years of age, you're playing for Man United, you're getting a few bob, and after a game, I fell out with the manager a few times. That was my way of relaxing. Yeah. That was my way. People took up golf, snooker. Mine was kind of going out, enjoying myself. And if someone said to me after a game on a Wednesday, and we'd all go into Manchester, and we'd go to Chinatown, we'd be having a Chinese about 4 or 5 in the morning. Forget the fact we have a game on the Saturday, and I know we laugh about it, but that all catches up with you. But if someone said to me after a Wednesday game going, what are you doing? Are you going home for a bite to eat? Are you going home to refuel for Saturday? I says, no, I'm going in town. I'd be thinking they're the lunatics, not me. I thought I have to go out and drink as much alcohol as I possibly could, come around Thursday morning and go, I better get ready for Saturday. And that was the life.
But you'd be always in, wouldn't you? I mean, everyone that went out would always be in Thursday morning. And
of course, yeah, because you have a game on Saturday.
What was you eating when
I played a cup game before Crystal Palace at home, and 3 hours before the game I had a kebab. Doner kebab from the chipper against Crystal Palace. A doner kebab, yeah, 3 hours before a game.
But Alex Ferguson pulled me in many times. He said, you were out in Manchester, you got a taxi at 2:30 yesterday morning. Something. I go, yeah, I did. But it's not breaking the rules because it's 48 hours. It was in our contracts. Yeah. And I used to argue. I go, yeah, I did. And then he would say to me, how many drinks did you have? And obviously I'd lie to him. I would say maybe 10, 11 bottles, and he'd be like, 10, 11 bottles? What are you thinking? I'm thinking, if I told him the truth, that was every hour, you know? So it's just... So you kind of tell the odd white lie as you go along, obviously. And we've done the same with Ireland. We used to turn up with Ireland on a Sunday night, and we'd have an international qualifying for the World Cup on a Wednesday. So we get into Sunday night, Jack and all this, and I was only a young player. And the senior players, I'm on about Paul McGrath, Kevin Moore and Andy Townsend, all this, and I'd be sitting there going, Jack, can we go tonight? And Jack go, look lads, big game on Wednesday, you know, can we just go? All right, lads, try and be back for about midnight, right, midnight. We're playing on Wednesday, Spain in the qualifier. Well, Jack, and I'd be sitting there going, yeah, I'll go for a few pints, but this is about 6 o'clock, you still have 6 hours drinking. Jack, 12 is a bit awkward, you know, if you're out at 12 in Dublin, any chance you're 2 o'clock, lads. 2 o'clock, be back for 2 o'clock, that's it. But Jack, you know, if you're out at 2, you're obviously in a nightclub. You know, if you stay out till 2, that means you're not going to leave a nightclub, do you? Look, I'll see you in the morning for training, and that was it. We'd come in at 7, 8 in the morning, and Jack would push training back to the afternoon because we'd sleep off the hangovers. But you know what, Jack? It's obviously a stupid thing.
Brick wall for him.
Yeah, because that was management. He knew the senior players. He knew Paul McGrath would do the business. Yeah. He knew as a young player I'd probably do the business on a Wednesday. And not 9 times out of 10, but a number of times we would get results for Jack, and he'd go, who am I to stop these lads going out?
That's not leaving your leg, and that's different, Dad. And he does
What's that then?
And then when he does leave his leg, and the party piece afterwards is the triple somersault he does. He's a disgrace.
And what do you want the other players to say to him?
Get hold of him, so you don't behave like that playing for Man United.
France squad, look, I looked at the squad of all the players who were not going. It was ridiculous.
For
The
France?
11, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about the lads who aren't going. Focus on the players who are going to be there. Christ almighty.
Ferguson thinks he can just say what he wants about people, and people go, because he's the mighty Ferguson, he can do what he wants, and nonsense. What are people frightened of? Is he entitled to criticise me and tell lies about me? Other teammates who brought success to Man United, criticising them when he'd made millions out of the club, millions. He's getting statues, he's getting stands, and then he does a book and criticises people who brought him that success. Crazy.
Do you have a relationship with Sir Alex Ferguson?
No, there's no need. Why would there be? You know, this is my relationship with Man United. You know, my contract was with them, not with Ferguson. No.
It's like Mick, it looks good, but it's not very good. Crime Watch.
I was very lucky. Two brilliant managers. What I suppose that what I always enjoyed working for both those managers were they always kept it simple. Alex Ferguson or Brian Clough I never felt confused with any of their instructions or their tactics. They kept it very, very simple. Obviously, both brilliant managers. I do count my blessings I've worked with them. But if I was to take anything away from having worked with them, was how simple they kept things and never complicated it. Well, obviously you're professional, you got to respect the people you're working with. Simple as that.
I always remember the first time we won the league and we were in Mulligan's and you walked in with Norman. Do you remember?
Norman Whiteside, right.
With the flag with the United's flag.
Right, brilliant. Yeah.
And everyone just started singing.
Yeah, brilliant, yeah. Listen, great days.
From that moment on, I never missed a night out, right to the end of my career.
Yeah. But you were always forced to go home, though, weren't you?
No.
I had a fight with Pally in Marbella. I was with Pally a few weeks ago, honestly, great guy. I vaguely remember, I think Bobby Charlton, I told you that, he opened the door, he apparently stuck his head out and he saw me and him doing it. I bet he's thinking, no. But I think we won the league that year, so it helped. I don't know. But even that, when I came down that morning after that fight, I remember thinking with the lads going, I'm sure I was fighting. I can't even remember. I remember my hand, I was saying, I'm sure I was fighting last night, and one of my fingers was all bent back. And then I think Butty was on the scene, to be fair. Butty was... He's
always around, wasn't he?
He's around Butty, and he explained what happened, and I think Peter had a black eye, to be fair to him.
He can't be right. Now, I've heard now people say, well, they want him around the place. For what? What does he do? Card tricks? Does he have a sing-song? Does quizzes in the evenings? What does he do?
The respect, the way he used to speak to me, Ellis Short, I didn't like the way he used to speak to me.
What would he say?
Just the tone of his voice, I felt, and I go back to him when I suppose I left United, even with Ireland. I think if people speak down to me or show me a lack of respect, that does irritate me. And it doesn't mean to say I'm not afraid to answer to people. Obviously, we've got owners, and when I was younger, you had senior players. But my last conversation with Ellis Short, he said, well, you need to move up to the area. And I was like, again, I'm thinking, I'm 35, 36, why should a guy be telling me, a married man with 5 kids, where I should be living?
And that's going to handicap them if they want to win the league or go deep in the Champions League.
Win the league and Champions, forget it. For Liverpool, forget about it. I think they have enough to get through the group. But later on the stages against the Real Madrids and all these boys, they'd be laughing at Liverpool. Not too much to say about Liverpool. I think if Liverpool were playing out my back garden, I wouldn't watch them.
And Zidane, I remember we played him United, and obviously Zidane, brilliant player. And after the Madrid game, we were walking up, and we literally, sometimes you just walk up the player, and I was like kind of looking at him, I was like, and he was looking at me, I was thinking he'd probably ask me, but no, and we did, and I'm glad. That was the only other time I thought, will I, won't I? And I'm going, nah, leave it.
The 2 centre-halves would give you a heart attack. You'll have to maybe take Boateng off. Boateng's walking around the place like he's playing Sunday football. He's been a disgrace. Get him off.
If you could change one thing about your appearance, what would it be?
There's not much wrong, is there?
His second spell when he came back, for some reason towards the end of my time there, I found him really disrespectful towards me, so we had a bit of a fallout. You know, he questioned my loyalty, and I told him where to go. And one of my big regrets, really, I probably should have ripped his head off, but excellent coach.
And then the start of my second season, I had a dreaded chat with the owner where he's in my office, and we're on the tactics board, you know, you're going, why is he playing there? And you're looking on, this is not right. This is not right. I knew my days were numbered then when I explained to the owner, you know, why isn't he playing right back? Why is he a left back?
It's hard to figure out Liverpool at the moment. I think it's hard to get excited about them. To me, they're going nowhere fast.
I know it was 2 weeks before the tournament, it was a time of relaxation, but barring injury, you need to train on a secure training ground. And of course, the first 1 or 2 days we picked up 1 or 2 injuries. It's as simple as that. The evidence is there. the Wednesday I spoke to two press lads who I had a bit of time for, two decent riders, I think, Tom Humphreys and Paul Kimmage. And I made my point to him that, you know, I was disappointed with certain things. And Thursday morning there was an interview gone in the Times, which I'd read myself, and it was fine. And Thursday night there was a meeting organised. And as soon as the meeting was called, Mick said, "Oh, certain people aren't happy with things," and I says, you know, I'm not. Which I told him the other night in a private meeting anyway. And I said to him at the time, "Oh, why can't we do this in private?" He says, "Well, you've made it public by your..." And he pulled out an interview from his back pocket, as if maybe to catch me off guard. And I said, "I've already read it, and I stand by what I say."
Teammate.
I'd have to maybe go with Dennis Irwin, because I roomed with Dennis with Ireland and United,
yeah.
and he's a Cork man, even though he lives 5 minutes away, he never gets in touch with me.
My advice would probably be, yeah, take him out. We saw Italy doing against Belgium. A player got a yellow card on the halfway line. He literally jumped all over somebody's back, Belgium, when they were breaking, and then he kicked the ball out of play. So yeah, that's where you go back to the Italians, and you know, you got to be streetwise in this game. You know, we're not here to make friends, or the fans are doing that. But from the player's point of view, if you smell danger, listen, if you can hold the player up and you can win the ball, fantastic. But if you think we're in trouble here, then yeah, you do whatever you can to get the right result. And if that's fouling, then you foul. It's not a crime. You might get a yellow card. You might even get a red. But your team might win. Sacrifices. You've got to make sacrifices for your team. To answer your question, what do you think I would do?
It was unbelievable. You were on the pitch, him in the stand.
Yeah, it was brilliant. That's why the anger I have towards the end of my time at United and with Ireland, my anger is justified. Because I feel I was wronged. Like, we all do something, we go, do you know, I kind of played my part in that. But not on them occasions. No, I'll argue you might have a different opinion about it, but I don't think so.
Yeah, but to be honest, I was trying to mind my own business. Honestly, I was just focused on the game, you know, quite calm, getting in the zone, and Gary was a little bit upset, and he seemed a bit worried. And but I think I said to Gary, I said, just forget about it. Obviously, we need to focus on the game. And then, of course, obviously, Patrick wouldn't let it go. You know, typical Arsenal bully. And then he started again in the tunnel just before obviously the game started. And that's where I kind of got a little bit irritated.
Joshua or Fury?
Oh, I don't like any of them. That heavyweight stuff is irritating me. Too much talk.
Joshua or Fury?
None of them. They both irritate me. I'm not picking any of them. Honestly.
Liam or Noel?
Oh, Jesus. Do you know, I'd probably tolerate Liam more than Noel. But they both get my nerves, like the two boxers. But maybe Liam.
You have to tell someone you like him a lot. This is like the person that's like...
It was good
the one person.
In sport or in life,
it's
family,
a bit
heavy, innit? Jesus.
I think the players and even the supporters, they all have to change their mentality. It's just nonsense from players speaking after the games about how great the supporters are. Listen, the supporters want to see the team doing a lot better and not giving daft goals away like that. So, no, listen, I'm not too happy with all that nonsense again. And praise the supporters for the sake of it. Listen, let's change that attitude towards Irish supporters as well. Listen, they want to see the team winning as well. Let's not kid ourselves. I know we're a small country and, listen, we're up against it. But let's not just go along for the sing-song every now and again.
No one needed to invite me for a night out or a drink. I used to love it. To me, that was part of the package. But I had that kind of mentality from Ireland. I played League of Ireland. You know, that win or lose, you hit the booze.
People sometimes watch me and they think he's a bit serious when I'm doing it, but that's my job. If they want a comedian, they can get somebody else. You know, I'm there to give my professional opinion on a game, and to be fair, with what I'm seeing and what I'm watching, I try and be fair on the players and obviously the management. But do I see myself as? I still don't see myself as a kind of a pundit. But if people see me as that, then so be it. I'll probably do a few more games while I'm out of work over the next few months, and we'll see how it goes.
I get agitated by their attitude, or players being late or not focusing properly.
You hate late, don't you?
Yeah, but you shouldn't, you know. Why do you like people being late? Does anyone like somebody being late?
And also, Mauricio Pochettino tonight has said that Dele Alli, at age 21, is there a better 21-year-old in the world with what he can do, assists and goal scoring and so forth? What do you think about that?
Slight exaggeration, I think. I think the kid's still got a lot to do. Potential is there, but there's plenty he can improve on.
Yeah. Do you think it's just a little, not necessarily a dip in form this season, but a bit of a plateauing in form from Dele Alli? Which happens to a 21-year-old.
Yeah, which can happen to a lot of young players. But I just worry about that kid, what he's doing off the field. I see him doing a lot of commercial stuff. I always think these kids focus on what you're doing on the football pitch.
I don't know. Yeah, a bit taller. Could have won more headers.
Clean shaven or beard?
No, beard. A clean shaven kind of irritating. I prefer the beard. It's just, it's kind of lazy, isn't it?
I used to think that.
No, but when I have a shave, within a day or two, you're going, it looks rough anyway. Just leave it.
Does the beard being on or off define how you feel, or is it just nothing to do with it?
No, that would be a bit too deep. You're looking at it's just sometimes it's laziness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I have a shave, no, come tomorrow, a bit of stubble, then the day out, and you go, need another shave. Just leave it.
We saw how brilliant he was last year, and then he's coming up with all that nonsense on the eve of a big game. If I was a teammate of his, I'd kick him up and down the training pitch. But his attitude, even last night, he's like a spoiled child. He's just absolutely ridiculous. Koeman's opinions, honestly, there's no issues with me. I couldn't care less, to be honest. It turns my stomach. It's absolutely disgusting why he's trying to get other players into trouble and his reaction. And again, it's up to some of his teammates. Yeah. Maybe not tonight, because I'm sure they'll be busy celebrating. Yeah. But somebody at the club or a senior player to pull him and say, listen, cut that out. But we've seen him doing it for years. No doubt he's not going to change.
No. You'd say to him, you're embarrassing yourself, you're embarrassing us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'd rather fall out with somebody than pander to him. And people say, people say to me, and I don't mean them two people, they come across really well. What, in an interview after they've been beaten? Well, that's great, that.
The Pogues, you two.
Gary, you're stereotyping me, aren't you? But, you know, when you have dogs, guess what they need? They need walks.
You lost your dad a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So that was...
Is that bad for you? In
yeah,
terms
of course
sort of,
it is.
How do you deal with that, Roy Keane?
You just, like everybody else, you know, you just get on with it and... Yeah, it's tough.
Oh, where do I start? No, I think Arsenal are a great example on how not to start a game of football. Felix, when he came on, that guy's an imposter. He's an imposter. He comes on like this. Your country needs you, and he comes on, hits a target. He's, what, 100 million? I think if I was Ronaldo, you'd certainly be going after him in the dressing room. You know, I always think when Wilshire's your captain, to me, probably the most overrated player on the planet.
And we're going there, and people are going, but there's no gear. Okay, what do you mean? There's no medal gear? No, there's no gear at all. Well, there must be footballs. No footballs. No bibs. Nothing. It was like, if you see the training pitch, you look down, and you go, is this for real? And all the other lads were laughing. I was looking at all the other lads and going, that's why you're winning. Called some of you at your clubs as well. There was a bit of that as well going, the laughing's got to stop now. The laughing's got to stop.
Do you go out for meals?
Yeah, I go for meals, but I wouldn't go, like, what day today? I wouldn't go Saturday night. I'd go into maybe Altrincham on a Tuesday at 6 o'clock for tea.
So no one was in?
Yeah. But then just for a bit of privacy, Gary, you know, I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Do you hate the idea of, like, being in a restaurant, it's full or...
Oh, yeah, no, that wouldn't sit right with me, or, like, being in the public eye, please, I hope you agree with me, I detest it. I hate it. Not worse than people coming up. Listen, people can be polite, but still sticking a phone or following you on the camera or doing something you're going, and then the people think you're rude, but I'm the rude one and you're coming up. And I think really good fans, I bumped a United fan the other guy, he was showing me his tattoo, and he just said, all right, blah, blah. And he walked on, I'm thinking, that's a proper fan. People who invade you with your phone or jerseys, I think, you're just annoying. I think the people who respect you leave you alone. If I saw somebody walking down the street, if I saw Bob Dylan come down there with his guitar, I'd probably just go like Bob and let him walk by. I wouldn't go, oh, fucking photograph Bob. Looking at it. But I'm pretty sure I know what he'd say.
Did this bother you?
Yeah, it does. But listen, he's the boy Pogba. He seems a bit of a free spirit and a bit of a character. But I think it was a little bit over the top tonight. Would it be before the game half-time? Like, they've spoke to each other more tonight than I think I've spoke to any of my brothers in the last 5 years. So all a bit strange. And they're probably chatting as we speak after the game. But I think when the game started, they were focused on the game. All this stuff before and after the game, a lot of nonsense. But that's the modern player, I'm afraid.
And people are going to ask me to ask you, are you going to stay on?
I refuse to answer that question.
We'll take that as a yes then.
Take it whatever you want. Yeah, of course. Nobody wants to cheat. Whose phone is that? That's the second time it's gone off.
it's my phone, sorry.
Why did you turn it off? You're sitting there, that's the second time it's gone off. Why don't you put it on silent?
No, it's not the second time.
Well, why don't you turn it off?
Well, I'll turn it off in a minute.
You're just going to let it ring?
Well, I thought I'd let it ring out.
All right, that's good manners.
When I see Gibbs with the captain's armband on at the end of the game, you're in big trouble. If he's your captain or your leader, if he's a guy that's going to bring everybody together, you're in huge trouble.
What would you do if you met him now? What would you do
I
if
haven't
you...
got a clue, you know,
Yeah.
truthfully, I'd probably have a go at him.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
What would you say?
Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish about me and other lads who've done well? Yeah, I'd probably say that to him. And he'd probably defend himself. He'd probably take a run and jump, as you'd expect. But I just don't see why we have to sit back and accept it. And people go, well, you know, it was always about power control for him, and he thinks he can do that now. And I'm 43 years of age. Well, am I supposed to be frightened of him or scared of these people? You got to take him on.
But the crunch games are coming up for him over the next few months, when the cold nights come in, and we'll see maybe half the Arsenal player with their gloves on. So I wouldn't be getting carried away with Walcott.
Do your homework. Nonsense.
I think the two centre-halves, they were like right-side Fred, the two lads at the back. Really poor, my goodness.
But he does appear to have a bit of swagger back, doesn't he, Mourinho?
Yeah, which is a pity, really, because obviously the guy, you like to see a bit more humility, but you knew once they'd start winning a few games, yeah, he'd get back to his old cocky self. Not for me, he's not my kind of cup of tea. I find him really irritating when I've coached against him. I've never heard so much rubbish in my life. Why do we have to listen to that garbage? It's just utter nonsense what he's talking about. He's manager of Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs on the planet. The squad he's got, the players, and he keeps moaning about fixtures and fatigue. We were just looking at some of the cup draws they've had. They've had an easy ride in the cup. Some good draws, a lot of home draws. And the guy's talking absolute nonsense. Never heard so much rubbish in my life. Is it? Maybe the club's too big for him. He can't deal with all these demands of the matches. What matches? Cup competitions. They played Man United reserves could have won that game tonight. I'm sick to death of him. Talking about the player collapsing, that was easier than a training session. A good tough training session. You have 11v11 on the training pitch. That was easier than that. And he's talking about players collapsing. Oh, what rubbish!
Which players? Which were you talking about?
Well, I mean, you play with some great players. The Van Nistelrooys, the
Ruud.
Beckhams.
Ruud would certainly be worth now. The market now, probably $1 billion.
David Beckham.
$1 billion.
Giggsy.
$2 billion.
Roy Keane.
3.75 million, I think.